Hey everybody. Hopefully Facebook gave you the notification today. I don't know why, sometimes they do and don't, but that's okay. I'm going to give everybody just a minute to get in. Thank you so much for joining me. This is like the big one. Grab a drink, get comfortable, because I'll go through the whole thing if you want me to, as much time as we need to spend to get everybody's questions answered and to make everybody feel really good about the elementary technology curriculum, k5tech.net. So I have the longest agenda of everything that I want to go over for today. So I'm going to reference this, but I also for sure want you to ask all of your questions. I have my phone right here, so it should pop up any questions that you have. And I will make sure to make time for Q&A so that we can get every single possible question answered. I think I'm going to go over a whole bunch of stuff too that should answer some questions along the way. So we'll see. The first thing, there's like 4 main things on the agenda. I'm going to go over the printable options. I put it in a binder like this. You can also access everything digitally. And it's meant to be used that way. I'm just a person that likes to print stuff out, so I'm going to show you the binder. And then obviously show you the website. Every time gotta try not to move my desk. Show you the website, like how to get to it, how to have students get to it and that procedure, how the students access the pages, some of the great custom content and like the different lesson types that are there and what the pages kind of look like. The extras, all of that. So all of like the great website stuff. Then I'm going to go through the common questions that I get a lot, like how to assess students, what's the deal with the class account, what are the PDF options, all of that stuff. And then for anybody that wants to stick around after that, there is a new feature that's optional that's available. It's an additional cost, but it's for anybody that needs a learning management system and doesn't have access to something like Google Classroom, or I know Edmodo is kind of old school, but it's just the one that pops into my head as a learning management system. The site now has a learning management system option that is a paid add-on, so I'm going to walk through all of that at the end if you want to stick around for that. Let me know who's here. I see like it's popping between like 12, 13 people, which is amazing. I was trying to kind of do a slow start so we can let as many people find this live group or live video in the group as possible, because I know that Facebook like kind of makes you wait a minute. And I didn't want to get too into it before everybody got a chance to get in here. Hey, Tessie and Michelle, welcome, and everybody else that's watching. I'm sure lots of people will pop in. Wow, from Las Vegas. I love it. I haven't been to Vegas in a few years. All right, I'm going to get started with showing the binder. So I call it the binder because it's just how I keep my lesson plans. I grabbed the 3rd grade one. The first year I decided to go for it with like a 2-inch binder and put all the grade levels together, but then I decided that was kind of overwhelming for me, and then I split them down into individual grade levels. All of this is digital. It is the PowerPoint files, the rationale and lesson plan pages that come with the purchase. So what it is, I also put I'll show you what I mean. I put some of my data collection pages in there too. Like this doesn't come with it, but that's at the front of my binder, just like anybody would have at the front of their binder. Having your organizational stuff, your teacher stuff. So for each and every unit, there is a unit divider, and then I just put like the sticker dividers on them, and then handwrite what it is. You could type it too, but so every unit has a front cover page to help you get organized, and then I'm going to just pull 2 of these out so that I don't have to hold the whole binder up. Each and every lesson, or sometimes for units, there's only one for all of it, has 2 things. It has a rationale page and it has an editable lesson plan page. The rationale page is like a story from me to you as I was putting all this together, so I created the website. I mean, it's come a long way, but I created it over 3 years of being a technology teacher, K through 5, before I decided to like share it with the world. Maybe 50% of it is still the same from then, and all the rest is like, as technology changes, amazingness. But anyway, when I decided to share this website with the world and realized that it would be valuable for all students everywhere, the rationale pages, I wrote out kind of like from me to you, things about this lesson, things that I figured out about teaching technology. And this is also where you're going to find like answer keys to things and any information. So highly recommend reading every single rationale page. If you're just popping in, Tammy, no problem at all. These are the PowerPoint files. You get one of these PowerPoint files for each grade level, and this is the rationale and the lesson plan pages. I happen to print them out. They work perfectly well if you just want to always access them digitally, no problem at all. So the rationale page is my story to you, explaining what this lesson, unit, project, whatever, what it is, but I also give tons of tidbits about classroom management and assessment and the pedagogy behind everything. So for sure, read these. This is this is the longest part of the planning every week, but read these from beginning to end for each grade level, like throughout the year. You don't have to sit down and read it all today, unless you want to, because it really tells the whole story. So you have a rationale page, and then you have the editable lesson plan page. So since I printed this out, this is not editable, but the PowerPoint version is. So I have the standards on top. As you can imagine, every single lesson hits multiple standards, but I picked like the top main standard with I can statements to put on the lesson plan page. You can probably map it to multiple standards if you want to and need to. And then in the middle, again, whatever your school requires, just swap it out. But I give like the lesson title. Lesson brainstorming was my way of saying like, what do you need to think about or prepare ahead of time? Resources needed. So almost everything is just digital. There are a few things, like for example, there's a second grade unit that has some vocabulary worksheets that you would print out, copy for the class, and do together. So that would be in your resources needed. Or for example, fourth grade does the digital passport from Common Sense Media. So actually, back when we used to have to make student accounts, that would be like a heads up thing to take care of ahead of time. But now they let anybody access. All you need is the link. So that was a bad example. But digitally, like if you need to prep anything, that's going to be in the resources needed or copies of. And then down at the bottom, there's a blank one for your lesson reflections. That's my favorite thing, to look back at the year before and have that note there so that I know what to change. And then the other side of it is your exit slip and or your proof of learning. So there I gave you ideas for exit ticket type things to ask your students about. Like I said, it's all editable though, so do whatever you need to do. Okay. So that, again, was from the PowerPoint, and every single unit or lesson or project has the rationale page that I highly recommend reading through, and then that lesson plan editable template. So seriously, when it's time to sit down and plan, all you have to do is read the rationale page for the next lesson, decide if you want to do it, which you probably will because it kind of goes in a progression. Read the rationale page so that you get the whole picture. Make sure that the lesson plan page is whatever your admin needs it to be, or that you understand what's on it, and then write it in your planner. Kindergarten's on lesson 24. Like, that's it. That's all you need to do from week to week, is write down which lesson your students are on, because I've done all the rest of the work for you. So do you have any questions about the binder or anything? I'm going to, later on when I talk about assessment, I'm going to show you that the spreadsheet thing that I had there. I love my shirt too. This is in my Zazzle shop, and if anybody buys any of my Zazzle merchandise, all of the profits from that go to funding grants for teachers. Usually use donors choose. I ask people in my Facebook group all the time to leave me links, and I go and I put some love on there. Zazzle only pays me a couple times a year though, so like once I get I think you have to make $100 before they'll pay you. So it's only a few times a year because not that many people buy shirts unless you want to start now, and then you can get your grants funded too. Is this best for tech teachers rather than STEAM? Yep. So this whole curriculum is for the ISTE standards for students, and between kindergarten and 5th grade, we progress all the way through all the skills, all the way to mastery. So unless you're following the ISTE standards for students, you probably are not super interested in this curriculum. But I love that there are STEM and STEAM teachers around doing this stuff. I'd probably recommend just grabbing a couple of like my TPT units if there's a specific tech skill that you want to teach. There's not a lot of like a STEM side. Okay, so I showed my binder. Yeah, so donors choose doesn't work in private schools. Yeah, so if you leave me a link to any grants that you have open, I'm totally willing to donate to anybody. That's fine with me, as long as you've got like the grant link or something. That's all you got to leave when I post about it in the group, and then I go and help out with those. Okay, so I think I'm done showing you all this stuff back here, so I'm going to switch my camera so that you can see my computer screen, because I think everything else is on there. So this is always the awkward part. You get to have your nice close-up. Let me switch this around. And I know I gotta switch the page like that so we can see. That's not even really where I wanted it. All right, so now we get to talk about, hopefully that's pretty good, the actual website. So most everything is digital content. You get digital content with the subscription. That's kind of how this works. So students access everything via the website, all the lesson pages. The only exception to that is the couple of things that are printed out. I always highly recommend having a backup plan for the days that the Wi-Fi's down or the power's out, whatever. And if you need recommendations for those, let me know. But that is separate from this. Okay, so students go to, it's k5technologycurriculum.com, but I created a short URL, which is just k5tech.net. Any student can learn to type that. No, a kindergartner can't day one, but by January they'll be able to, and actually you can just bookmark it. And then they can click member login, or as if you start to scroll down the page, students will pop up on top. And then that brings us to, I'm going to close out of that. Here's our home page, and normally there'd be a login box right here. Let me log out so you can see what I mean. So this is where students enter in the information for the class account. So everybody in the class shares the same username and password. And then you can click the little remember me box. So basically, have all your 5th graders log all your computers in. Do it once with a simple username and password. And there we go, now we're logged in. There is this little poster. So here was the login box, and I'm scrolling down. Here's your poster. This is the procedure. So you have your students go to k5tech.net, click students at the top, click login. Hopefully your browser saves it, or type the login info. Find the lesson from the menu. If you're in grades K through 2, I'm going to show you theirs is a little bit different. And then get started. Like, you just let the students know which lesson to access. So now let me talk about this menu again. So it is a doozy of a menu, but that is one of the main skills that we're working on, honestly, is how to navigate the internet, right? So this is a really great set of skills that students get to build. So what I was talking about on that poster, kindergarten, 1st grade, and then 8 weeks into 2nd grade, they have a special page. So if you click on the menu once, it opens up this massive mega menu, which is fine for when students can read, right? But a kindergartner can't find their lesson on there. So you click again on kindergarten. So I clicked once, the menu opened, I clicked twice, and now here is the kindergarten landing page. You tell a kindergartner to go to lesson number 4, they can handle it, right? They're also all labeled here. So for you, for your sake, you can know which one you're going to, and it's not just a number. Like under 5 right here, it says mouse practice 2. I see that my camera is shaking a little bit. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully you can still see what I mean. So they have all of their lessons 1 through 40, just like that. And I'm going to click on first grade, click on it again, show you what I mean here. Theirs starts with their lab rules to remind them, and then they have to scroll down a little bit to get their numbers, and that was intentional because they need to work on scrolling. Everybody does. And then second grade can do the same thing. And they only have the first 8 of them numbered, so that lets you get into the school year with them so that they can work on that skill of navigating the menu as well. Starting in 3rd grade, they click on their grade and then they have to find the lesson. So you would let them know, like I always just had it up on the smartboard or on the board, and I just switch it between classes. Like I would say 3rd grade, Internet Safety 4, and that's how they would find it. Yes, the first couple weeks you're gonna have half of the class asking, how do I get there again? What do I do? But by the middle of the first quarter, maybe the beginning of the second quarter for some of the slower friends, they will get to it with 0 effort on your part. All you have to do is say, let's say to 4th grade, say 4th grade, online research 4.4. Or you can tell them Google search tips if you want to make them actually read it. And they find the thing on the menu. So that's how to do the main navigation of it. And now I want to just show you some of the really cool stuff. So we have 2 different types of lesson pages, and it really, the difference here is the age level. So let me just click on one of these mouse practice ones. While I'm waiting for it to load, let me just pop back in here and see when you answer question, can the password be changed? I usually update all student passwords. Absolutely, yeah, we can change the password. You can change the password at any time with the forgot password link that was back under the login box, or you can email me and I'll be happy to change your password too. All of their lessons are directly on the website. Yes, ma'am, they are. I mean, there's those couple I'm thinking of the 2nd grade unit specifically for vocabulary. There are some worksheets that can be printed out, but everything else, we're all on the site for it. Okay, so this is what I was talking about with a type of lesson page. So there are some links to external sites. You probably already know about a lot of these external sites because we love them. The benefit and the thing that you're paying for with this subscription is having this whole website built for you. It's already done. I keep it up to date. Links break every week. So I have a bug report form, and then you can always email me too. URLs on external sites change without any notice to us, but I make sure to sit down. I have it in my planner on Tuesdays. If you let me know of something any other day of the week, I probably can make time to fix it too, to find like an alternate link. Or like if you use Ziggity Zoom, for example, all of those links broke, but all of the games were still on her site. So I just had to go and find the new URLs. So anyway, links to external sites here, but then there is also a ton of custom built content. So I have built these HTML5 activities right onto my own server, and they're all right on the lesson pages. So for example, this is a kindergarten mouse practice lesson where they're working on click and drag, and the activity is right here on the page. So instead of students having to click to an external site, which that is a skill that's really important, that they know how to navigate between tabs and between pages and back to the main page. So that's why there's a combo of both. But it also is really nice for them to just be able to do the activity right here in the page, and they get immediate feedback. I got to finish this one. Just because that's me and that's my brain. So all of these activities are built right into the web pages themselves. If, for example, I know we've been talking about Flash-based activities, I am working on finding new activities for all of those, but let's say your browser definitely stops supporting Flash and one of these linked activities was Flash, just skip it and then have your students work on these. And yeah, okay, that one only took me a few seconds and this one's just like a click. It tells them, so you'll have to, for your non-readers, give them a little bit of guidance, but honestly, they'll get used to what this means. The instructions in the box right there tell them to click on the circles. You find all the circles. And then you wait for it to get to the gold star, and that's how they know that they're done. Anyway, the point that I was trying to make there is that even so let's say you've got a 45-minute session and you decide you're not going to use the external websites, you just want your students to use the activities built into the page, just have them do them multiple times. You can click retry and it resets it. Or on this one, it's another great opportunity to teach them to clear the cache, which on most machines is F5, or they can hit that refresh button. I hit the wrong one. Function F5, not Control F5. And it will reload the page and they can redo the activities as many times as you want them to have to do. So there are multiple of those types of activities built into the pages. So this was a kindergarten mouse practice lesson. Obviously a 5th grade lesson is going to look pretty different, and I'll show you that in a couple of minutes. But then once students are done with the main part of the lesson, there are always early finisher activities. For most of the kindergarten year, I put the early finisher activities right there at the bottom. And then later on, they have to find them from the menu, and I'll show you where the extra stuff is. This stuff is all optional. If you don't want your students to access it, just let them know. Or if there's any websites that are acting up, just tell them to skip it. Simple as that. Let me show you the other early finisher activities are all in the extras menu. The K through 2 activities are all on one page, and it's K through 2 because it doesn't really require any learning. It's all, or any reading. It all requires learning. For them to do it, again, it's got some of those built-in activities, and it's got some linked activities for different subject areas. So all of that's there in the extras. So this is like early finishers. Whereas, let me see, 3 through 5 has keyboarding, and then these extras set up the same way. They're just buttons. So instead of having like those images to click on, they have to read it and see the buttons. It does have some built-in activities there. And then more button stuff. So those are early finishers. So that was one type of lesson page where it has links and it has activities built right in. The other type of lesson page has a screencast video from me. So they're going to get used to Mrs. Washburn. I will be like your co-teacher. And I'm doing a video of what students need to do in that lesson. So it's a screencast of directions, and then they all come with buttons to templates. So this is the perfect example of a software lesson. So Word and Docs, PowerPoint and slides, Excel and Sheets are all going to have templates that students are working off of, and then the screencast of directions from me letting them know what it is that they are expected to do that day. So if you click on any of the Google Docs versions will prompt them to make a copy. So that will work if the students have Google accounts. If they don't have Google accounts, they can't make a copy in their own folder. So you'll want to use the Microsoft Office version. And then if it's any of the Microsoft, like Docs, or no, Word, PowerPoint, and Excel, my goodness, then they will just download right to their device. Oh, that wasn't the that wasn't the template, that was the button to the lesson. And then this one has, the template is in there somewhere. There we go. Download the example. But anyway, the video would have shown them what to do. And had I watched that video recently, I would have remembered that part of the lesson. Another example, let's come into Google Slides unit. So let's say that you do have, your students do have Google accounts and they can do these. They will make a copy of the file. The video directions are all in there. So this is what it looks like when it prompts them to make a copy. If you've been using Google Classroom or Google accounts, you definitely are probably already familiar with that. It's spinning around and wants to make its copy. And for this particular unit, it's a multi-part unit, and the whole file is together. So your students would then access it from their drive after that, which is an amazing set of skills for them to be able to navigate and go and find the files again. The video, the instructional videos, there we go, the screencast videos are all linked right in there. It's a very, very low prep on your part. The only possibility with the Google stuff is if your school doesn't allow outside links, then the video files might not play. So what you do then is you as the teacher make a copy of the video because it lets you access outside links. And then you share your URL with your students. So you can put it in your Google Classroom or whatever. You can share that, your link to the video that's now within your own network. So that sometimes gives us a little bit of a challenge, but we're all in this together, all learning it together. So those are really like the two types of lesson pages, like one that's like a bunch of links and built-in interactive content, and then the other one is like a template and a screencast type lesson. And then for everybody, we've got the early finisher stuff, and at any point you can choose any of the stuff on this extras menu and work on it. There are also like emergency sub-plans here, just in case you have to be out and you can just show the students that this is where they come. It's just all of our favorite like learning game websites. But honestly, as soon as you're a couple months into the school year, you can just tell students which lesson to go to. They're going to remember which one they were on, and they'll know the procedure for getting on the website, and they don't even like need you, which is kind of an amazing thing. Okay, so now I'm going to get into my frequently asked questions. If you want to see more website pages, just stick around and like tell me which ones you want to see and I will show you them. No problem with that at all. And I've seen a couple of questions come through. Ooh, I'm like swiping and I almost just knocked over my phone. Subscription versus having bought the K-5 curriculum, is this the same thing or different? Okay, it depends on when you bought. I used to offer it as a one-time payment. I had to switch to a subscription model because the server is getting super expensive. But if you did buy it back when it was a one-time payment, it was more expensive then, but you don't need to do anything else. Now, I dropped the price, but I made it so you have to pay every year to keep it going because I've got to be able to keep the website updated, if that makes sense. So if you bought it back when it was a one-time payment, you don't need to do anything else. If you're buying it now, the subscription model, it is active until your subscription expires, so it's 365 days. Our computers are Chromebooks. Oh yeah, it's not a problem on Chromebooks at all. The only thing to consider there is any downloads, some PDFs might open, but your Chromebook should have the ability to open the PDF in the Chrome browser. And if you're on Chromebooks, just skip all of the Microsoft Office lessons. Don't even open them. Go to the Google version. Christy asked, does each student have a username and password? No, it is a class account. The site doesn't collect any student data. It doesn't track individual students. That's your job. So you have a username and password that everybody shares. That was going to be in my frequently asked questions because it comes up a lot. So all you do each day is like let the students know which lesson to go to. But anything like the templates that I was talking about, they are going to turn their finished work into you. So that's why it's beneficial to have a learning management system. If you stick around at the end, number 4 on my list is to talk about, I do now have a learning management system feature built into the site. It is an additional fee. So in that case, each student would get a login. Stick around. I'll give you more information on that. When a person is using the purchase curriculum, not the subscription to the students. Yes. Oh yeah. Purchase curriculum. It's still the exact same thing. I'm sorry if I'm explaining it poorly. It's the exact same thing. It just changing. The only thing that changed is like how much you pay and when. It is still the exact same content for everybody. Okay. People ask me sometimes about assessing, and that's where I wanted to share. A lot of what we do in tech class is performance-based. All the extras and emergency subplans available if you only buy one grade level. Emergency subplans are still available, and then whichever, like the K through 2 or the 3 through 5. Okay, this is what I do for assessing performance-based tasks. I put the date that it was introduced and then make a new date note for when the student is progressing and when they've mastered it. So this would be the class list. This is part of my technology teacher planning and data binder. This does not come with the curriculum, but I just wanted to show you that this is how I assess performance-based. So this would be things like, can they hold a mouse correctly? Can they show me where the home row keys are? So I would put this on a clipboard or in my binder, and then I would walk around and put the date, make students show me. And then for things like the software lessons, I look at students' work for completeness and give them a grade based on their work that they did. So the site doesn't have assessments on it because you're collecting their stuff and looking over it yourself. Okay, do I have a list of lessons and skills learned for each grade? So I don't have a list, but that is what all of this stuff in the binder is. This is like really hard to show you now. I'm not doing a very good job. If you look on each lesson plan, editable lesson plan page, you can see which standard it hits and I can statements. So based on that, you can get yourself like lessons and skills learned for each grade level. If you have an application like AB Tutor, can you launch this website from the teacher computer that's signed in already? You can, but your students still do have to be logged into k5tech.net. It doesn't save any steps. In fact, it just, I was thinking like, so I've had people ask like, if you put the link to the lesson in Google Classroom, can it like circumvent the login process? And no, it can't. But I think AB Tutor is like, you push out a link. Yeah, you can push out a link. They're still going to have to log in once they get to the site, but you can. Students get really, really good at just type k5tech.net, click login, and then find whatever lesson it is from the menu. You just let them know which page to go to. That's what happens if you click 3rd grade twice. So is this included in the K5 curriculum that I bought yesterday? I'd much rather have the online. Yeah, I'm not sure what Jackie, I'm not sure what you're asking. You'd much rather have the online? It is online. If I'm misunderstanding, let me know. All of this is what everybody gets. Tammy, I love that idea. That is exactly what I do too. So you might watch the video together as a class and discuss it, and then they can watch it again alone if necessary. So for example, this is what class looks like for me. I have the lesson page up and the students all come in, carpet or sit at computers depending on the age. And then we go through the page. We go through all the components of the lesson that day to make sure that they understand. And then I let them go and get started. In grades 4 and 5, I have them come in and do 10 minutes of keyboarding first. But then once that 10-minute timer goes off, I show them the components of the lesson and then let them go and get started themselves. It's still really important to have that person-to-person connection, right? All right, now I want to talk about the class account a little bit. So if you checked out and you used like your teacher account that you had for, let's say, my free resource library, and now you're realizing that, oh, you have to share that username and password with your students, just email me and I can change your username to whatever you need it to be. We have a 3-character minimum. All right. I'm clicking teachers at the top right here because I want to show you something. All that, there we go. Wow, my Wi-Fi is not great today. All that the teachers area is some links to my resource library and my blog. You have the bug report here for any time that you find a broken link, and then my shop. But don't worry, none of your card information was saved when you checked out. So you don't have to worry about students accessing anything. There are some common questions here. That's a good place to go. And then your access order downloads is another place that you might go into. But this is a pretty boring page for students. We really have not had any issues with students accessing anything that was like detrimental. Doesn't really matter to me if they look over the common questions. That's just practicing their reading, you know? So if you were worried about that, don't be. But if you need me to change your username, I can do that. You just have to email me because I have to do it manually on my side. How long are these lessons based on? A 45-minute class period. If you have longer than 45 minutes, I recommend getting the add-on packs because that adds daily messages, it has vocabulary, it has exit tickets, it has graphic organizers, it has stuff that you can use for each lesson to fill another 15 minutes or so if you've got a longer than 45-minute session. Okay, so that I talked about the teacher side access and what to do if you need your username changed. Now, for grades K, 1, and 2, I did not do a good job of bringing, I can't really show you. I didn't bring my external hard drive up here, so I don't have it. Basically, there's a PDF option of a whole page like this just for grades K, 1, and 2. And you can, if you don't own this yet, you can buy each individual grade level. If you do own this, it came with your downloads. Instead of having to start with a web page like this, you can have that PDF. You're going to have to download it onto each device and like have it as a desktop icon, the PDF for them. But then it gives them clickable links to each lesson so that they don't have to log in, you know what I mean. So again, that's K, 1, and 2. By 3rd grade, they need to be able to work on that skill of logging in, so I do not have that option for them. I will say, with the PDF no login option, I have not done a great job of keeping them updated as links break, and it's probably something I can only get to once a year, whereas this content I'm in and I'm updating all the time if links break that I'm getting in there. But it is a good option for people that need it, that PDF. I'm gonna have to do a separate video. I'm so sorry that I spaced on that one. It was on my agenda, I just forgot. But at least I'm telling you about it. there's a PDF option that comes with it, and it's really self-explanatory. You just load it onto student computers and they access the stuff from there. Okay, what other questions can I answer, or pages that I can show you? Let me show you some other stuff that's on here. I love all the kindergarten mouse practice pages because I've added all of this really cool custom content. So here's another example of some links to websites we're already familiar with, and then some like built-in activities that I've made. So this one, students are matching uppercase and lowercase letters. Ooh, I didn't realize I actually have to like stop talking and do that. So the custom built-in content for them is part of the website subscription, and then early finisher activities. That really, like, that's the nuts and bolts of what this is. You, with this purchase, you're getting the whole website. Students just come onto the site and they access their activities. Here's another example of like how there's a video, and then, well, this one is a placeholder. This is gonna take many weeks. What happens in kindergarten if they get it wrong? It's a little red X. I'll show you. Okay, we're gonna let that one load. So lots of the upper grades are gonna be multiple weeks at a time that they're accessing the same page. Okay, so for example, if I pop it on the wrong one, it will allow me, and then once I click check, it'll give me feedback about which ones I got wrong and which ones I got right, and then we can retry and try it again. That page didn't have, if it was the one where I'm just clicking, it's just an immediate red X. Sometimes people complain that they're just playing even though they're building skills. You guys, let's have a conversation about that, because I think that this is such an important thing. Yes, students are using a game-based approach to building mouse skills. Karen, don't get it if you only have iPads, because none of the software lessons are gonna apply. Because the versions are just so different. While kindergarten would work fine on iPads, I don't recommend it for any of the other grade levels. Okay, yes. So this might appear to be a game, but for a kindergarten student, what they're working on is that dexterity, and let's run through all the skills. They are logging into a computer, getting to a URL, navigating to a website, having to click the right places to get to the right lesson, opening up new tabs, progressing through an activity that might require some perseverance, getting back to the main page that they were on and continuing the lesson, all of these things. And it's all like, it looks like it's a game, but they're progressing through something that is working on skills you might not even realize. Is it possible to correct wrong answers without redoing the whole activity? Not with those drag and drop ones, but it is with a regular clicking one. Okay, so like this one says click on all the orange. If I click on a green one, it doesn't, it gives me the red X, and it doesn't add to the gold star bar. And by the way, that red X went away. But if I click on that, a new red X shows up, and I just have to keep going. So the drag and drop ones, you have to go through the whole thing and retry. But the just regular click, they're like called a hotspot. It just, your goal is to get that final yellow star, gold star. Okay. Oof. Sorry, I'm just trying to swipe. Any other questions? I love it. If we are ready, I want to show you this new feature for people who need the learning management system and don't have a way to collect student work or assess them separately from the site. Yeah, you can I'll post this video into the group as soon as we're done. And then you'll be able to rewatch it at any time from the videos tab of the group. It will be there forever. I'll leave it there forever. If you know that you don't want the learning management system feature, you're free to go. That was everything that I had to show you about the actual curriculum itself. This next thing that I'm going to show is an additional price and for people that don't have another learning management system. Let's jump into it for those that need it. So if you've seen the courses button back on the home page, you might be wondering what in the world it is. So for grades 3, 4, and 5, this option is available. So kind of like I was explaining that the PDF option is for K1 and 2, the courses option is for grades 3, 4, and 5. I want to show you a couple of things. I want to show you what it looks like on the student side and then what it looks like on the teacher side. This new learning management system feature has as the teacher, you will have a teacher dashboard and be able to look at student progress. Basically, like any other learning management system, you've got some tools that you can see where students are. You can look at they can turn assignments into you, and there's some grading stuff that I'll show you too. So this is the kind of the student view. Instead of having the menu up on the top, each of the units is here. I'm showing you 3rd grade right now. And then you can expand any of these to get into an actual lesson. So I will click on a lesson. And now here it is. So their menu stays on the side. We've got the screencast, we have the buttons, all those same things that I showed you from this lesson a little while ago, your early finisher activities. So on the student side, it doesn't look very different at all, which is a good thing because they're already pretty much used to it. What I can show you, let me just come back here. Too many tabs open. Close the tabs you're not using. I'm gonna go to, so the student stuff doesn't look very different at all, except that an assignment that they can turn in a file will have a little file upload place. And then from the teacher's page, there is this group management, and I've left that link really tiny because not everybody's going to have access to group management, because again, this is a paid add-on if you want it. So this is what it looks like. This is my example class here, and I can see, where am I? Oh, okay. My group leader report, group quiz report, and group assignment and essays are all the buttons to get to your different pages. And of course, it's going to tell me that I can't look at it. Ugh. I swear I was so prepared for this and now forget 2 things. It looks like what you would expect. I'll have to make a separate video to show you, but basically students can upload their assignments and you can grab them through this system. It's a learning management system. I've also added into the courses some multiple choice questions, true, false, that kind of thing. At the end of a unit, a student will have a quick check. Let me put it here. And then they have to do. So at the end of a unit, there's a quick check. This one happens to be something that they type in the answer. It says, describe 2 ways to change the size of a word. We're doing word processing, so it would have something to do with fonts. And then you would be able to see all of their responses. Okay, great question, Melissa. I didn't realize that I didn't say it yet. Okay, this add-on for up to 150 students for each grade level. So you have to get each 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade. This is separately. It's $5 per month or $60 a year for up to 150 students. So then if you're using all 3 grade levels, it's an extra $180 a year that your school probably was paying to Google without realizing it if you're using Google Classroom or another learning management system. And yes, with this learning management system, every single student gets a login, and that's how the site tracks. You'll be able to tell which lesson they're on. If they've submitted quick checks or assignments, you can see their answers. You can see they can upload assignments right to you, and you can get and open the assignments and grade them and give them a score right through this learning management system. The cost is the same whether you're homeschooling and you have 1 kid or if you're working with all of the 3 third graders in your school. So does that kind of answer that question? It's still going to be $5 a month to be able to use the learning management system, regardless of how many, if you've got 30 kids, 150 kids, or just 1 kid. Let me see what else I can show you. I think somewhere there's going to be a multiple choice when I set this up. Nope, that's another. Well, the learning management system is only available for 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade. So you have to get each one of those separately. I would love to only have 150 kids total. You do have to pay for each grade level because you're paying for access to the course, and each course is set up as an individual grade level. So that's how that access works. I wish I could show you. I'm going to have to do a different thing for the group management page, but as you can imagine, you have a whole list of students, and then any assignments that they've uploaded or which lesson they're on, or if their multiple choice test came back at 100% or 75% or whatever, you get reports on it. Or if they've uploaded an assignment, you can click on it and download it to your own device or open it and grade it. So that's the learning management system option. If you have purchased 3rd grade, 4th grade, or 5th grade, or the bundle, I can send you, just shoot me an email, and I can send you back the PDF with the instructions for how to get access to the group management. I totally get. That's why this is optional, this learning management system thing. You absolutely can still use the curriculum as intended without it. But I had so many people saying, how do you get the students templates after they do the PowerPoint lesson? How do you grade it? So I racked my brain over the last year or so to figure out a way to add a learning management system to the site. And this is what I've come up with. Yes, each student gets their own username and password. And how much extra is it? It's $60 for the year or $5 a month per grade level, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. You buy the management system. Yes, you can buy it monthly. There's a monthly option, and you can just pay for it, and then we'll suspend it or pause it or cancel it, whatever you need for those months that you don't need it. And if you're in a school, anything like the one, all the schools that I've ever worked at, if you have a lot of turnover, you make the username and password or whatever you want it to be for your students. You upload it. I don't do that for you. You upload a template of the username and password. So Paula, this learning management system option is for people that don't have access to Google Classroom. If you already have a learning management system, you're good to go. Yeah, absolutely. This is for people that don't have that. I think I caught myself. I don't remember where I was going. I've been talking long enough now. I've kept you guys all for 55 minutes. I feel terrible. This is your precious summertime. Okay. Anything else that I could answer? Oh, I think I was just saying, if you need more information about the learning management system, send me an email and I will send you back the PDF that gives you the links to the monthly or the yearly. I don't anticipate very many people using this. I just wanted to let you know that it is an option. If you need it, it's a paid add-on. If you don't need it, great. But if you do, it's now available. Christina, if you bought from TPT, you'll want to go into your My Purchases page and re-download. If you bought from my site, you'll want to go to Teachers and then Access Order Downloads. If anything seems to be missing, because I recently updated 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade PowerPoint things. If it seems to be missing, just email me and I can like refresh your downloads. But that's how to get the updates for this year. And that's just like the files. Everything on the site itself, all those updates are already there. And they're just embedded in the pages themselves. If that makes sense. All right, I think that that's everything I have for you. If you have any other questions, I'm gonna stop the video. But I can, there we go. I will happily keep answering questions in the comments and I'll take care of anything that you need. I hope that this video helped, and if anybody was like on the fence about whether or not this would be a good tool for you, hopefully it showed you what you needed to see. If it didn't, let me know and I will answer whatever you want me to. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your day and make sure to open emails from me every Sunday when I send it out so you can find out what the next summer prep series deal is for next week. Have a great day. Till next time. Bye.